Hello everybody and welcome to this week's In My Mug, and this week we're going to go to Costa Rica and go and see my good friend Carlos Arrieta. So hi everyone, as I said at the very beginning there, this week we're going to be going to Costa Rica to go and visit my good friend Carlos Arrieta. The story of Carlos is a fantastic one, and I know I've told it a few times, but I'm going to tell it just once more. Well, I'm going to tell it loads more. But back in 2011, I was in Costa Rica at the cupping table, tasting all of the coffees from our good friends at Exclusive Coffees. And we were tasting this one. I was just like, this is amazing. I love this coffee. And Francisco, the owner of Exclusive, turned round to me and said, Steve, why don't you come and meet the guy that grows it? And I'm like, yeah. So I went up and I was really excited, and I was like, said to Francisco, can you tell Carlos that I really enjoy his coffee and I'd like to know how much he wants for it? And his reply back to me was, well, how much do you like it? And I said, well, I like it a lot. And then Carlos said, yes, well, I'd like a lot then. And then we ended up negotiating a price and a long-term relationship where we buy everything from Carlos's farms. It's a very small farm, producing around about 40 to 50 bags with Mantial, Oasis and La Casa, and the new farms that are coming on stream as well, but La Isla. But no, it's a really, really good relationship we have with the Arrietas. Every time I go, all I feel is warmth and love. In fact, I had an email this very morning, I kid you not, just saying, how are you? Hope everything's okay. Are you enjoying the coffee? So it's a really good relationship we have, and it's just it's a fantastic coffee. I'm going to hand you over now to Virtual Steve, who's going to walk you through some of the things and share some videos with you, and when we come back I've got a very special video to share with you. Okay, so thanks Steve. He actually got the date wrong though. We actually started working with Carlos and the family back in 2013, and I think it's the perfect example of a long-term relationship that's been developed over the years, and as we've grown, they've grown. If you read through the Coffee Archive and the very excellent book Coffeeography, you can just see how far we've come since the initial meeting. Back then, the farm didn't even have an official name. I know it was grown by Carlos and I knew it was really delicious, but years since that's purchase, we've got to know them better. So the name of the mill is ARBAR, and this is combined by the family names of Carlos Arrieta and Maria Barbosa. The children, Jessica, Karen, Esteban, Jose, Ignacio, all work on the farm together, and they have four small farms and one permanent worker that works with them on the farm, and a few temporary workers during the picking season. This might seem like an awful lot of work to share between the family, but the select teams of Costa Rica mean that they tend to be on the smaller side, and they tend to work more efficiently and more smarter. The group of farms are called La Casa, El Mantial, El Oasis, and then this week's La Isla. Carlos has been growing coffee for around about 40 years, La Casa being the oldest farm, with El Mantial and El Oasis coming on 20 years ago, and La Isla is a brand new project that's still really early in its production life. He's only started processing his own coffee since 2014 after we helped him buy a pulper, which meant that he hasn't been able to present his coffees to a single buyer before. It was just really lucky how we met each other. All the farms are located in the Western Valley near to the town of Lourdes Naranja. Carlos he's very active in the local community and has very good relationships with some of our people that we work with in coffee. Vistral Val, Sumava, and in the past we've also worked with Herbazoo, that are all friends of the family. They operate mostly in organic processes, although they're definitely not organic certified, and they really believe in biodiversity of the farms, the plants, the trees, making sure that natural things are given to the soil from the trees around them, and they don't put artificial things in. This coffee comes from La Isla, which is located around about 1,400 metres above sea level. The farm is roughly 1.4 hectares inside and is implanted with a mixture of Villa Sarchi, Kenya, Geisha and Ethiopia. Overall, the area produces about 3,500 kilos of coffee cherries, which comes down to around about 10 bags of coffee or 700 kilos of green coffee once processed, and around about 570 kilos once roasted. This latest project is actually bought by Maria's niece. Carlo and Maria have agreed an arrangement where they will manage the plot of land and they will plant it, and they will share the profits from that. The coffee's processed at ARBAR on the pulper that we bought them, and is a red yellow honey process, somewhat similar to the pulp natural process, but uses less water. Water is a rare commodity in Costa Rica, so you look after it wherever you can. The colour just means how much mucilage has been removed from it. So, why is this coffee great? Well, it's grown by great people who look after the land and look after the plants and look after the processing to make it a fantastic cup. So the farm is La Isla, the mill is called ARBAR, the farmer is Carlos Arrieta, the nearest city is Lourdes de Naranja. It's in the Western Central Valley border. It's 1,400 metres above sea level, around about 1.4 hectares, and grows Villa Sarchi, Kenya, Geisha and Ethiopia. So let's go back to normal Steve so he can introduce this really exciting video. It's really exciting. So you know that my love of football, I know it doesn't kind of work with you all, but I absolutely adore football. And my team is Sunderland, and the chant that we have in Sunderland is "Away the lads." So I'm just going to show you, I promised Carlos, he loves football too. It's very much a Costa Rican thing, football, that they are into it, and he was talking about how much he'd love to go to an English game, and I said, well, if you come to an English game, you've got to learn this.
Away the lads.
Away the lads! Away the lads indeed, Carlos. I really hope that one day I do manage to get him here, and I promise not to punish him by taking him to a game of Sunderland. So as Virtual Steve said, this is an In My Mug exclusive just for people who subscribe, because it's such a tiny lot. And I think it's really exciting when we can occasionally do those ones. You should definitely subscribe. Subscription is the way to go, then you get to try all of these amazing coffees. But let's get into this one, Mr. Grumpy. Grumpy by name, grumpy by nature. So on the front end, the acidity is quite dominant at the front, and it reminds me a little bit of like an orange squash, because it's not an in-your-face kind of juicy orange, it's a more kind of delicate, kind of lighter acidity, with some sweetness. Very much that kind of digestive biscuit mixed with a little bit of like milk chocolate, a little bit of cocoa powder. It's kind of a little bit of bitterness on there as well. A fantastic coffee, and one I'm really pleased to just be sharing with subscribers. If you're not a subscriber and you would like to try some other ones of Carlos's coffee, they will be coming on, and they will be there in the future, and we have Oasis and El Mantial, but this is just for you. So thank you for joining me as always, and as Carlos would say, away the lads, life is too short for bad coffee.